Namaskar friends, I'm Rajan Sharma from Omkar Motivation and Training channel. I'm today present before you with a very interesting topic. But before we start the topic as it is, I'd like to ask certain question from you also as an audience and from myself also. Please try to find answers in yes or no within yourself, and then at the end of these number of sequence of questions, we'll try to see that whether we need this session or not. So the first question is whether you find yourself busy all the time or you have enough time with you. Most of us do not find time for many things in our life. They're busy all the way doing one thing or the other. The life has become very fast. The pace is very fast. And in that fast pace, we might be losing some of the best things which life has to offer us. So I'd like you to introspect yourself on this. Second thing is that whether you and me as an individual are able to do whatever we want. Then, do we have enough time for ourselves? Do we spend enough time on us? Do we talk to ourselves quite often? Then, are you in full control of your life? Whether your internal and external environments is in total alignment with your personality, with your life goals, with your aims, with your objectives. Then, do you find enough time with your family, with your friends? And second last but not the least, do you feel always very exuberant, very fresh, very enthusiastic, very passionate, without any kind of anxiety, fear, or exhaustion of energy, or fatigue, or stress? So try to find out answers to these all questions. Are you like a rolling stone which is gathering mass over the period of time? Or like what we call that, whether you are kind of having a snowball impact, that it gradually it is increasing in size as it is rolling down through the time. It is not only virtual physical mass, it might be many other things, psychological, emotional, going in your mind over the period of time. You are not able to clean up, which you are not able to clear the clutter, and it messes up with your total personality as such. So with these questions in background, and as a teacher, I'm just a mediator to convey all those thoughts and experts on time management. First foremost, I must tell you what are the benefits which you'll gain in your life by implementation of very simple, very logical conclusions and solutions to time management issues. They're not very complex, they're not very typical. Only thing is you have to explore on that, you have to work on that, and you have to come up with your solutions on your own. That is what we are going to discuss in this episode or in the next few episodes. So first and foremost, what are the benefits which you will grow through the implementation of time management practices? First one is that you increase your efficiency, you increase your productivity. That means As far as the time is concerned, it is having a paraphernalia of limitation. You cannot stretch time. Yes, you can select what you have to do with the time given in terms of number of hours in a day. That is in your hand. The choice of how to use that particular time is in your hand. Time is not in your hand. It will pass anyway. Second is, when you manage your time, you become successful, you become achiever, you become energetic, you become enthusiastic, you become passionate, and you come up with an accomplished personality. And that sense of achievement, that sense of accomplishment further propels you to allocate your time and energy on the crucial, important, valuable factors in your life. This will increase your health also. Why? Because when you are addicted to success, yes, I am using the word addicted. There are some people who are addicted to failures. There are some people who are addicted to success also. And it becomes generally a habit among individuals either to succeed consistently, continuously, or to fail continuously or consistently. So you have to select in which category you want to put yourself, or even as an individual, I want to put myself. The last thing which time management gives you, that it gives you time and planning to realize your full actual potential to the optimum possible extent, not to the maximum extent, because as far as the potential is concerned, it is infinite. But within the circumstances, within the reference to short-term and long-term horizons held by an individual, you can control, you can realize your potential. Now, coming back to these things, there are two things left. Success is not all about materialistic things. Success is about your materialistic, emotional, and spiritual success. On all these three wavelengths, you have to achieve success in your life. Only then there is a proper alignment between life energies. You understand the concepts in a very focused and in a very crystal clear manner. The increased clarity brings clarity on goals also, brings clarity on planning also, brings clarity on execution also. So as first and foremost thing which is required in time management is that you should be very clear about your goal, life goals, your career goals, your personal goals. Why? Because once you have the clarity on that, then the whole thing of planning, execution, implementation, correction, failure, and then success rolls down the line. But foremost thing is that you should have clarity on your objectives. There are many words which are being used in context of clarity on aim. It is whether you want to have wishes fulfilled, whether you want to have your desires fulfilled, whether you want to your aim fulfilled, or you have something called indomitable will. What is this indomitable will? This is when you total solidify your wish on one or two objectives, then it becomes indomitable will. That means you will achieve that particular objective and you are very determined on that. And it is always said that you can have many desires, but your will is single most objective of your life, and that is sure to be achieved by you if it is in line with the principles given by various seers, various personalities, various gurus, that is Atmano Moksharth Jagat Hitaya Cha. Now, once you decide or once you have clarity on goal, Brian Tracy is one person, one expert on sales. He says it is always beneficial to note it down on a piece of paper and pen so that the chances of fructifying that particular aim becomes very high. So note it down, then set time framework to all these activities. Make a total list of effort which you want to do to achieve all these objectives. Make a plan. Plan is nothing but prioritizing various activities and laying down the sequence of all those activities so that in the coming days, weeks, months, year, how you are going to achieve your goal or aim which you have already clarified in a very, very nutshell language, in a very, very solid language, in a very, very comprehensive, very, very comprehending words. And once you make a plan, start acting on immediately. Why I am saying that you should make a plan and you should start acting immediately? Why? Because once you take a resolution to increase your growth inch by inch, day by day, hour by hour towards your goal achievement, then some laxity or some error in planning can be offset in the execution part. But if you simply plan and do not act, do not implement, then the things are going to be worse for you. I have seen many people who make so many plans, but execution level they are lacking very much. So when you try to plan like some of the masters, Mr. P. Sridharan of Metro Motors, Mr. P.J. Kurian of Amul, they have set an example that how meticulous planning can result tremendously. And when it comes to planning, we say that there are 6 P's: proper, prior, planning prevents poor performance. This is the gist of planning and its importance. So make a list and always work from the list. I've seen few things where a lot of people say that you should do away with the list. No, I'll still insist that once you make a list, the probability of fulfilling that particular task becomes increased, becomes high. So you must have to-do list, and then it will increase more than 25% of your productivity also. And always, whatever you want to do tomorrow, make a list of that particular thing in the evening itself. It should be very clear that what you are going to do tomorrow. There is a science behind this. Once you give your mind all these signals that okay, tomorrow you are going to do all these things, so your mind also equips you with certain energies which are in alignment of your goals to be achieved tomorrow. And there is a concept of Yoga Nidra also in relation to that, which we will cover at some later part. So when we were talking about to-do list, there can be 3-4 types of list. One is master list. Master list contains all those things which you want to do. Then from master list you make a monthly list. Then from monthly list you make a weekly list. Weekly list will give birth to your daily list also. And very important thing, once you make all these lists, please try to write whatever you complete. Why this is important? It has a very strong psychological and emotional impact on you. The more ticks you have, the more visuals you have on that to-do list is evidence of your accomplishment levels. So you will have a habit of ticking more on your to-do list, and especially that upper category where you have to do important things, where you have to do most crucial things, where you have to do most valuable things which are valuing to you, your career, your life also. And feeling of success and forward motion motivates you, it propels you, it gives you energy, it gives you self-confidence, it gives you self-respect also, that okay, yes, now I've achieved this, now I go on to the other task. It's a visual progression of your plans, your achievement levels. And as far as the planning is concerned, there is a 10 to 90 rule. 10 to 90 rule says is that 10% of the time which you spent in a planning and organizing, and 90% of the time you execute the job done. And this 10% is very, very important. If you spend this time 10% well, your 90% of the execution time will be saved, will be effectively utilized. And as they say that when you plan well, you become unstoppable. Nobody else can match your speed and passion when you are having a full-fledged good amount of planning behind your execution, behind your aim, behind your activities. Okay. Now there is another principle which works behind this also, that you have to decipher your tasks into two categories. What are those two categories? One is the important task, crucial tasks, valuable task, high priority task. The second one is routine jobs, mundane jobs, time consuming jobs, not really of good value. They consume your 80% of the time. So your life efficiency will come from that 20% of the tasks rather than your 80% of those mundane or non-vital activities. It applies to various situations. It was given by 1895 by Wilfredo Pareto. It is called the Pareto Principle. It is called the 20-80 Principle. What this Pareto Principle says, it was primarily employed to economic activity first. That your 20% of your customer give you 80% of sales, or 20% of your products give you 80% of profits, or 20% of your tasks may give you 80% of the value also. So start deciphering your tasks, whether they come into 20% category or whether they want to come in the 80% category. Prioritize, make a sequence. First do all those high value oriented tasks, and you analyze yourself also that whether you come into the 20% category or you come into the 80% category. It is related to materialistic and other kind of wealth. They say that 20% of the people have 80% of the wealth, and remaining 80% have the 20% of the wealth of the world or wealth of the universe. Materialistic also, otherwise also. So now what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to emphasize that you should be able to make segments within your objectives or within your tasks also. If you say make a list of 10 tasks, you might find that upper 2 or 3 tasks constitute more value to you as compared to rest of the 8 or 7 tasks. That means you have to prioritize and you have to sequence them accordingly also. And of course, as they say that you have 4 options: do that task, delegate that task, delay that task, or delete that task. For high value tasks, you should always start immediately and implement start acting on that. That is, do for that. For remaining mundane activities, routine activities. You can delegate, you can delay, you can delete. These three options are with you. Whatever option you want to achieve with this. And Brian Tracy has written a very beautiful book, that is Eat That Frog. And it is that frog came from Mark Twain's story. He says that suppose you have to eat a frog in the morning. What are your options? And in any way, you have to eat one frog in the morning. And that is the worst thing which can happen to you in the whole day. And Brian Tracy says that if you have to eat the frog at all, it's a compulsion, then eat the biggest frog first and eat the ugliest frog first. Why? Because in any case, you have to eat that frog. And virtually it connotes to that whatever task looks to you very complex, very difficult, and if it is of high value orientation, you should first try to complete that, try to do that particular task. That is what eating that frog. It tells you the sequence of eating the frog, because it's a compulsion. So you cannot avoid that, as for the Mark Twain story goes. Now, with this thought, we will end today's session. We'll come up with more things related to time management in the next session. Till then, keep on subscribing and viewing this channel and keep on enriching your lives. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.